Smart people, dare to be different.
So I got up and I went to him and I told him I wanted the power he has. And he looked at me and he said, Ampa, nyame beshrao. Nyambe ma was so free. Ghana kroma. Obe tu kwa inche biya. Nyambe ma scholarship can see obe school. You go to school and God is going to give you scholarship and you're going to leave Ghana. And when you come back to Ghana, you'll be treated like an ambassador. Now this was a layman talking. He said, you travel to many nations of the world and the hand of the Lord will be upon you and you speak the word of God with power. He said, God's hand was upon me and that I was going to be an international preacher. He said, I'll be speaking in universities and in colleges. I was speaking to presidents. I'll be speaking to prime ministers. I was speaking to ambassadors. And he said, when I travel all over the world, when people notice me, Ghanaians will be happy to be connected with me in the world at large. Now, when he started saying this thing, little did I know that it was going to turn this. But there was no one single word Brahmaku said about me that has not come to pass. You won't believe it. Not long after that, God worked it out for me to get my scholarship to travel out of Ghana.
No, listen, did you believe in miracles at that time or prophecy at that time?
I did not have a clue about what he was talking about.
But what I know also is that if you don't believe in a prophecy, it doesn't work for you.
That is not true.
It's not always like that.
No.
Okay.
The prophecy doesn't have to depend on you.
Okay.
It depends on God.
Okay.
Sometimes we get carried away and we want to prove a point to people. You don't need to prove a point to anybody.
Yeah.
Every prophecy is for an appointed time. It will delay sometimes. But the Bible says, write it on a tablet, wait for it, let the hearers and people watch it, for it will surely come to pass, even though it tarries. In my case...
Oh, you took my word from my mouth. I was going to say it. The vision may tarry,
yeah,
but it will surely come to pass. That is the word of the living God.
So, I served Brahmaku for 1 year before I had the privilege to travel outside. Now, what most people don't know is that a lot of people have always thought that the scholarship that I traveled on was a PND scholarship. That is not true. I never traveled on PDC, CDR, or PNDC scholarship. In fact, the truth was rather, the scholarship that I was supposed to travel on was cancelled. I was supposed to be going to GDR or Bulgaria for 10 months, and they cancelled our trip.
Was that the one that took you to
Yes. So my scholarship was a Hungarian UNIDO scholarship that I had, Fulbright scholarship, and that was what ended me in Hungary. That is how I traveled from Ghana to Hungary to go and study economics and also specialize in international economics and international relations.
And that time you had become born again because you had served Amwaku for 1 year.
That was the greatest thing that happened to me. In fact, going to Hungary as a born-again Christian is what has made me what I am today.
So God had a plan for your life?
He did. He did. So, and if God had not opened that door, and I keep telling people that it doesn't matter what you are going through now. It doesn't matter what happens to you now. Whatever happens to you, God has a purpose for it. I missed my opportunity of going on a PNDC scholarship to Bulgaria or GDR for a 10-month course. And God rewarded me with a 7 years scholarship to Hungary to study up to any level my head can carry me. And not only did God open a chance, when I was in Hungary, I became a student leader and I became the leader of the African Coordinating Committee. And I was relating to the president, relating to the prime minister, relating to the minister of education, relating to the leadership there. So I had the opportunity to also help my siblings, every member of my family, when they finish secondary school, straight away join me in Hungary. And that is why my entire family, we have our second language as Hungarian language. We speak what we call Major.
I see. So in your dealings with all these leaders, and were you still preaching the gospel to them?
In fact, I was a firebrand in Budapest. Whilst I was in Budapest, God used me to start the biggest church in Budapest today, the International Church of Budapest, started in my hostel, in my dormitory, in my room. We were embracing the English and the Americans. Remember, in the 80s, Hungary was still behind the curtains. And so Christianity was not a very common thing there. But some of us were very brand. In fact, A very good friend of mine of blessed memory, he just died about 2 weeks ago, Dr. Taiwo, who was a Nigerian, and myself. We started the International Church of Budapest together. He died of a heart attack about 2 weeks ago, and I just thank God for his life. He came from Abiyakuta and I came from Ghana, and we collaborated very well. But we were preaching the gospel from university to university, from campus to campus, from country to country. In fact, we combed the whole of the Eastern Bloc because we were on fire. And what it did was that we were able to bring many young men and women who are graduates today across the nations of the world who have become believing Christians.
Always make a change. Smart people.